Lots to chew on here, so let's check in now with our legal panel. Jesse Weber, News Nation's legal contributor and Law and Crime Network host, and Misty Marris, trial attorney and legal analyst. You know, today was supposed to be the custody hearing, at which point Veronica Butler, the mother who is now dead, was by all accounts going to win back more custody of her two kids and possibly unsupervised visits. That might have sparked why this murder happened.
Yeah, and look, I think there's so much talk about, oh, God's misfits, they're this anti-government group. It really seems to boil down to a classic bitter custody dispute. I mean, even the father of the children, and when you read the probable cause affidavit, made some questionable comments. And he has since denied them, but the idea that, don't worry about Veronica, you know, she's going to be taken care of, and this idea that this mother, this grandmother, Tiffany Adams, was not too happy by how Ms. Butler was raising the children. We've seen cases like this countless times. Unfortunately, that becomes a motivation to kill. Now, obviously, they're innocent until proven guilty, but I'll tell you, Elizabeth, reading that affidavit, reading about the burner phones, the purchases,
tasers,
it's pretty strong.
stun guns. You know, 3 burner phones.
That probable cause affidavit has so much information, and keep in mind, a lot of that is tied together by the 16-year-old child of one of those who's now incarcerated.
Right.
And that tells the story because in her witness interview with police, according to the affidavit, there's admissions before and after regarding the killing. So that is going to be incredibly strong when it comes into the courtroom.
I have to ask you both, as you read that affidavit, it's not just the 16-year-old daughter of one of the people arrested and charged with murder. There are other people cited in the affidavit, as well as hearing her, the grandmother, threaten Veronica Butler and say, we're going to get rid of her, we're going to take care of this once and for all. We have actual planning details. Are more people going to be charged, do you think, than these 4? Because it sounds like more people than these 4 knew what was going down.
I would say there has to be a difference between people making comments about how they disliked Veronica Butler or wanted something to happen versus the actual planning. You know, the gentleman I mentioned before, he was in a rehab center, so he might have had an actual role in what happened here. But having said that, they're building a case, right? And they probably need more individuals to be witnesses to what happened. Perhaps other people will be charged. I think there's one individual whose maybe property this belonged to or might have been associated with this. But remember, there's still a lot of details we don't know. We don't even know the cause of death, Elizabeth, right? We don't know the manner of death. We don't know the autopsy yet. So this is still the beginning stages, and we may see further arrests.
We just know that the 16-year-old daughter said that her parents came back and said it didn't go as planned, but it's all been taken care of. In other words, I think they killed them, but it didn't go exactly as planned. Having said that, Misty, in the affidavit, you can clearly see this was a carefully planned crime. They had, and that the grandmother lied from the start. They caught her in her first lie on the phone call the morning of March 30th when the 2 mothers disappeared. She said she called Veronica, and Veronica said, oh, something's come up. I'm not going to come in for my scheduled visit with the kids. Actually, at that very moment of that phone call, Veronica was picking up Jilly and Kelly and making her way, driving toward their deaths.
Right, so getting caught in that lie right out the gate, she's got a lot of problems. And as you said, from the probable cause affidavit, the level of planning and premeditation is really laid out, even to the point of an allegation that originally they planned to kill her by having an anvil go through her front windshield and making it look like an accident. And then with all of the items that were collected, the internet searches, all of that put together, looks like a pretty strong case. Now, we know it's the very beginning, but it certainly seems to shape up to be coming together from the investigation standpoint.
And by the way, Adams was the last person to speak to Butler. Who else knew they were going on that route to go pick up the kids? And the idea that they were stopped and that specific location looks like a struggle when you look at the scene with the blood.
Well, they were on the road.
Right.
There was a diversion.
Yes.
So they had blocked the road.
Yep.
And the 2 women then turned off and went down that dirt road sometime, because we were all puzzling, like, how did that car end up all the way down this dirt road? Right. It's in the middle of nowhere. They had been diverted off the main freeway, highway that they were traveling on, to turn on this dirt road, and then they were stopped at some point then by, apparently, according to the affidavit, the grandmother and her boyfriend.
Yep, and the burner phones were found in key locations, miles away from where the bodies might have been, so it all ties together.
Well, and the bodies will tell a story.
Oh, yes,
so we haven't seen the autopsy report, but that's going to be more information.
How soon might we?
Well, it depends on how much they're actually going to make public and how quickly. We know that they held this investigation very close to the vest.
Very.
And there's
we were all
likely a
wondering
reason
what was
for that.
going on. Nobody was saying a thing, and people were getting very concerned about why no word out. The local school on lockdown, in the absence of information, paranoia and fear really flourishes. It certainly happened in this case, but police were hard at work behind the scenes, and boy, this is quite a case. All right, Misty, Jesse, thank you so much.
Good.
And coming up for us.